Alright, so a few of you guys have been asking about how to blow out your sprinklers, and there's a cold or a hard freeze scheduled for tonight, or forecasted for tonight. So it's time for me to blow mine out. I figured I'll take a video and kind of show how we do it here. So first off, I'm in the basement, and we got to find our valve that feeds to the sprinklers. So turn this camera around somehow. Don't know if I can. I just turn the phone. So we have a valve right here. It's a ball valve that feeds the sprinkler lines and the outside hose line. So I want to turn both of these off so that they don't freeze overnight. So I start off by just turning off this ball valve to the supply. That means that no more fresh water is going to come from the tap and head out to the sprinklers. And now the next thing we do is we go outside and we blow out the sprinklers. We'll come back down here at the end to make some adjustments down here too, so hang on. Okay, I'm outside now. Two tools we're going to need is a compressor, the line that connects to the valve over there, and a flathead screwdriver for my system. Some of you guys might need channel locks or other tools. You just got to kind of figure out what your system needs. But I pressurize this thing to about 100 psi. I've read online that you can do it as low as 55 psi-ish, and some people run it like 120 psi. I think 100's about what I run my shop tools with, so I just kind of leave it at 100. Seems to work okay for me. Let's come over here to the valve. We connect to the outside of the valve, not the inside. The inside would actually blow, the valve pops up, seals it, and all this air would go back into the house. So I'm going to go from here through the sprinkler, so I want this side, the outside. And I also close this valve right here that prevents any backflow into the house from right now. So I don't want to blow anything back into the basement. And keep all these things open, all these valves open, and that actually sends it towards the sprinklers. So before I open this right here, which is the ball valve that lets the air in, I come down here. Each one of these valves works a station on my sprinkler system. This one's the highest in elevation from the house. This one over here is the lowest, so I'm going to work my way right to left and blow them out one at a time, because I have a small compressor and it's going to have to cycle a few times to get all the water out. So typically if you have a larger compressor, you can do it faster, but the smaller compressors will work. Alright, so I didn't show this. Basically this whole system's pressurized right now because I have this valve right here. Whatever direction that blade would fit in the screw, that means it's open. If it's sideways like this, that means it's closed. So this one's closed, that one's open. So I got the compressor hooked up, it's filling it. That whole system's pressurized. So now all I do, I'm down here and I open this valve a quarter turn. You can hear it, and it's headed out to the sprinklers. Well, it looks like about like that. Hardly any mist coming out, but it's popped up and it's flowing. That station's pretty much done. We move on to the next one. So we're going to open this up. We're going to wait for the compressor to start recharging. We're going to close it, let the compressor recharge, get back full pressure, and then we'll open it back up. Probably do that about 3 or 4 times per station, and then be all done with that. And there's some final adjustments we got to do to winterize it. So the sun's setting, got the sun just in time. Last things to do, all these are blown out. So my system has a drain on the very end here, so I just took the cap off, set it up here. Make sure you leave all of these open so that the systems can breathe, and as the ice inside, whatever water you couldn't get out expands as it freezes, then it can still move the air around. So all 4 of these get reopened up. Also, you want to put all these at 45 degrees You can leave them wide open. Most people put them at 45 degrees mostly so you can just tell, you know, something's up with them when you come back out here. This also has a drain right here. I removed the cap on there so everything's flowed through. Next step after this is I'm gonna wrap a plastic bag, like a trash bag, around this thing, duct tape around it, kind of insulate it through the winter. Then I'm gonna go back in the basement and I'm gonna pull the drain off of that and we'll be done. The other thing to remind is make sure you disconnect from the wall. And if you don't have an anti-frost spigot on the side of your house, you want to make sure that you put one of these guys over it to insulate that as well so these pipes don't freeze. I will pause it now, go down to the basement, show you the last drain, and then we'll be done. Alright, so final step. We've got the feed from the water supply, the hose feed, and the sprinklers that we just blew out. So this line and that line still have water in it, but it stops there. There's no new feed coming in. So there's a drain right here that we need to open up, drain these lines, and then we're going to do 45s for these two valves as well. And then we'll be done with this whole process. So just going to open this guy up. It's going to spray a little bit of water because it's going to drain from up above. You might have a different type of a drain. Drain it into a bucket if you can. This one pretty much goes straight to the floor drain here, so I'm not too worried about that. Alright, so this is finishing up. Pretty much done now, so we can turn these to the 45 degrees. We're not going to turn them all the way off. We're going to let it breathe too. And then I usually take this cap off when I'm all done, and I just set it right here on the water heater. That way I can find it next year, and I don't think that it's on and sealed and go upstairs and turn on the water and get blasted because it wasn't really locked down tight. So that's my reminder. Next year I come down here, when winter's over, I screw that thing on, open these all up, slowly turn on the water, and we're good to go. So that's how you blow out your sprinklers. Okay, so I got my valve all wrapped up. That's it. It's good. It's winterized. That'll protect it from the snow, nice and insulated, and it's all ready to go. One thing I did forget to say is make sure after all this, your final step that you need to do is make sure you turn your sprinkler timer into a standby or an off mode so it doesn't keep trying to water your lawn throughout the winter. And then that's it. You're good until springtime, and it's time to turn it back on, probably around Mother's Day or so in May.